guys, today I thought it would be fun to kind of make a recipe together. You guys know I'm in the middle of my second cookbook, and so when I have an idea in my head of what I want to make, then I have to go through the process of writing it down and measuring things out and then actually making it and baking it or cooking it, and that's how a recipe is basically made. So I lay in bed sometimes and my mind just goes crazy, like I want to do this, or I want to make this, I want to make that. Peppy, stop eating on my shoes already. So today I'm working on the breakfast part of my cookbook. It's going to be called Rise and Shine, because that's what my mom always used to say. Rise and shine, guys, give God the glory. And I'm going to use eggs. Obviously, I've got eggs in my hand. So I thought, how can I make eggs a little bit different? You know, we always fry them, scramble them, whatever. But I want to make a frittata today, and I want to make like a Southwestern. And I know that sounds a little odd, but my husband loves Mexican food. So I thought, well, this would be really nice. Let's just, put all the stuff that you would put in a taco in the eggs. So I'm going to start. I have all my ingredients here. So of course I have eggs out of the refrigerator, and then I have black beans. I have rotel. Then I have breakfast sausage, corn, a little bit of onion, and I have pepper jack cheese here. So these are the things that I think would work pretty good in this frittata. Also, right here I have my oven is heating up I have it on 400, so it's preheating. And then I went ahead, this is like a jumbo muffin tin, if you can see how big these are. This is a jumbo muffin tin, and I'm going to try to get them this big, because I don't want my husband to have little bite-sized pieces. I want him to have a big one. Okay, so I think the first thing to do is to crack the eggs. So I'm right next to the sink here, which is easy. So I'm going to crack my eggs, and I'm going to put them all in, like, whites and all. So I'm thinking for like a quiche, you use around like 5 or 6 eggs. So let's try, that's 5. That's 6. Okay, so 6 eggs. So when we're writing a recipe, we write down 6 eggs. We're gonna make this together, so it's gonna be like our recipe. Okay, 6 eggs. And I wanna break these up a tad bit, so let me just, Pepe, no, let me get my whisk here. Okay, so I have my whisk right here. And I'm just gonna like break these up a little bit. Okay, and then, all right, so 6 eggs. And then in here, I want to put, we're going to measure everything out now. So this way we know, and as we measure it out, we write it down. And if we have to tweak it a little bit, then we have to go back and fix it. So there's a lot of work into making a cookbook. I actually think I'm going to need a little half and half for this also. Let me just get it out of my fridge right here. So I got half and half out of the fridge. Okay, I'm gonna have to see how much. 6 eggs. Let's start with about a half a cup of half and half. So we're gonna put in, that's roughly a half a cup. And then we're gonna mix it together. And to me, I like to put this in my eggs because it makes it creamier. And it stretches it, makes them go further. So we put in a half a cup of half and half. Easy. And this is how recipes are born, Okay, so next I want to put in some breakfast sausage. So I'm getting do I want to do my cup? Let's see. Let's try a cup of breakfast sausage. It's uncooked because it's going to cook in the oven. And I just have, Jimmy Dean here, and I like the sage flavor. See, it says sage. So I'm going to try to use that. And I'm just going to put it right in the cup here and push it down. I'm taking it right out of this. And this should be a half of a cup. All right, so then we're going to put this in. Okay, so that's a half a cup of breakfast sausage. So I'm going to write that down. Half a cup of breakfast, oh, it was 1 whole cup. 1 cup of breakfast sausage. Okay. And then we can probably break it down in here with this. So we're going to, actually it probably would have been better to put the sausage and all the stuff first and then add the egg. So you see, we have to make a mental note of that when we go to make it, when we go to write it in the recipe. It would have been better to put the dry ingredients first in this case, because I have to break this sausage and it's hard to break it in the eggs. But see, this is how you make a recipe. It's not easy. Okay, and then when you're thinking Southwest, you want to put in, obviously, some tomatoes. So let's try a half a cup of Rotel. And I like the Rotel because it has like green chilies in it already. It has a lot of flavor. So this is a half a cup of mild, because I don't really like spicy. My husband does, but I don't. It actually smells Southwestern already. Okay, then we're going to put in some black beans. Let's see, maybe a half a cup of black beans. Peppy, stop. He probably found something on the floor to eat. Half a cup of black beans. And let's mix this up. Okay, so we have half a cup of Rotel mild and half of a cup of the black beans. Perfect. Okay, now we have corn. These are just the basic things. This was just a bag of frozen corn. I actually had it out already because that's what Peppy eats all day. Half a cup of corn. Okay, and it is actually mixing up pretty nice now that I think about it. Okay, and what else do we want to put in here? Probably a little, half a cup of frozen corn. Cup of frozen corn. And now we're going to put in a quarter of a cup of chopped onion. Okay, so I cheated today. This was already cut from the produce store. That's a third. Let's try a quarter here. I'm going to do it over the sink. So we have a quarter. Look how nice and diced these are. And we're going to put that in. I have to be very careful with these. I can't let any fall on the floor because little Mr. Vacuum here will... Okay. It's looking really good so far. It's got all that sausage in it and all the stuff that you would have. Okay, and then the last thing we want to put in maybe is a little bit of pepper jack cheese. So, do we want to put? You want to start with a half a cup again. You can always add to, but you can't always take away. So let's put a half a cup of pepper jack cheese in there. And the pepper jack is just going to give it a little bit of spice. Actually, this would make like a great frittata already, but I want to make them tiny, so we're going to... and then we put in a quarter of a cup of onion and half a cup of pepper jack cheese. Okay, so far, this is how you make a recipe. I'm wondering, okay, so then... Probably salt and pepper you need. So let's get the salt and pepper here. And because it's kosher and big, like I can feel it. So just probably a teaspoon of salt. And salt always enhances everything, whether you're baking or cooking. So it's always important to put it in. And then probably a half a teaspoon of pepper. Just for a little added extra. Now, this looks perfect already. I'm looking at it, but I'm wondering if it's going to be enough, how many it's going to fill in here. So let's go ahead and see. I think maybe it might fill 4. So maybe we should add 2 more eggs. Let's see what 2 more eggs does to it. So, and this is how you have to make a recipe, guys. It's not always, doesn't come out. All right, so that's now 8 eggs. All right, and we're gonna break them up and put it in. Put this in. I think we needed a little bit more liquid in here. So, let's see. I've got my whole audience today. I've got Biddy over there, Gracie down here, Pepe over here. So, they love to watch me in the kitchen. And, you know, I talk to them like crazy, so. Okay, so we added 2 more eggs. So that wasn't 6, it was 8. And to this, I'm just gonna add maybe 1/4 cup more of half and half. So we had 1/2 cup. So now we change it to 3/4 cup. And that's what you have to do for recipes. It's just a matter of trying things over and over and over. Okay, this looks really good. Okay, so now I'm going to take my 1/2 cup thing here, and I'm going to scoop it out, see? And I'm going to put it, each one in my muffin cup. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one needs a little bit more. 5. Oops, that was a little bit more than it should be. And 6. Okay, so we have, let's get that in there. Let's take a tiny bit out of this one because we don't want it to overflow. And we're going to put a little bit more in this one and a little bit more in these. Okay, so we do have a tiny bit left. So if you were making like a regular frittata, you could pour it in like a pie pan and cook it that way. Or you could put it in like a baking dish. You start it on the stove very low, and then you let it cook, and then you put the rest of it in the oven. That's a big frittata, and that would be fine. So we just have a tiny bit left in here, which we could make more, you know, if you add more, but I don't. So this makes 2, 4, 6 large muffin frittatas, or probably 8, like the 8 pan, 8 small. Okay, so just to make this a little bit more appealing, we're going to put a little bit of this pepper jack on the top now. And like I said, I have my oven preheated to 400. Let's try to get everything off of this. This way it doesn't bake on here and like cause a mess. And then we can put like, this was probably a 1/2 cup extra for drizzling. Because you always have to remember that. 1/2 cup of the cheese. So it's 1 altogether. So we write 1 cup of pepper jack cheese, 1/2 for recipe, 1/2 for drizzle on top. Okay. And there we go, guys. Now we made Southwestern mini frittatas. So I'm going to put this in my oven. Now I have to watch to see how long it takes to bake. And then, so I have to keep watching it. And then that's when I write down the time. So I'm gonna come back in a little bit, and we're gonna finish. I'm gonna put it in the oven and let you know how long the time takes. So thank you for making a recipe with me today. It's that easy.